I started the day on our anniversary with a heavy heart. I confronted my wife, Lisa, because I had found disturbing evidence. I told her I had proof of her betrayal. Her eyes widened with shock. "Where did you get that?" she asked, barely able to speak. I showed her a picture of her in a compromising moment with a stranger. "Does it really matter where it is from?" I said. "It does not change the fact that you broke our vows." I had been married to Lisa for 9 years. I asked her simply, "Was it really just a kiss?" She replied, "It was not cheating. We were in front of everyone at the party. I admit we kissed, but I did not sleep with him." I shook my head. "So that is your defense? No name? No reason?" I pressed her. "We signed our vows to be faithful, not to simply kiss in public," I said bitterly. Lisa tried to calm the tension. "Brian, you are overreacting. We were surprised and it wasn't planned. You have no idea who he is." I did not accept that. "You think that if I do not see you with him, it is okay? How can I trust you after this?" I said in a low, hurt tone. When I called him by his name, I saw anger in her eyes as she mumbled, "Do we really have to go through this?" The conversation turned heated. I demanded more honesty. "Who is he, Lisa? Tell me now. Your silence only makes things worse." She snapped back. "What difference does his name make? You might even get hurt if you start a fight with him, so stay out of it," I replied sarcastically. "I will not let you hurt yourself or destroy our trust further." I then turned and walked away to pack my things. Upstairs, I grabbed a suitcase and began packing. Lisa followed me, asking, "What are you doing?" I curtly answered, "I need to get away from these lies before I say something I will regret." Her voice, full of desperation, pleaded, "But why must it be this way?" I could only say, "I cannot keep living with this deceit." I remember thinking that a good marriage had honesty at its core. I asked, "Was it really just a kiss?" "There is no explanation of who that man is. How can you say it is not cheating when you hide his name from me?" She repeated, "I did not cheat on you with him, Brian. I only shared a moment, and it was not like I was unfaithful in the proper sense." I retorted, "A kiss alone may seem harmless, but it burns the promise you made to me. This is not what I signed up for." I left the room and later checked into a small motel. I spent that Friday night thinking about our broken marriage. I worried about our son, Toby. I knew that if I divorced Lisa, Toby would suffer in a single-parent home. I thought about the child support and the financial strain. I missed the simple days when our family was whole. The loneliness made me cry until I could no longer keep my eyes open. As the new day began, messages on my phone showed concern from friends. They knew I had an engineering job at the local chemical plant. I had recently been promoted to production manager. I even looked forward to a new salary that might help me provide Toby with a better life. We later moved to a new city. Lisa found work at a large call center, and soon Toby was born. I convinced her to be a stay-at-home mom since I earned well. We built a new life with new friends, though our closeness started to fade. Soon, Lisa's friends began talking about what had happened between us. They planned a meeting at a restaurant one Sunday evening. I felt a mix of anger and sadness when I learned that Lisa's best friend Cassie had arranged the event. I agreed to go because I wanted to know why Lisa had lied to me and what our friends really thought. I parked my car outside the restaurant and walked in. I noticed the group was already there, whispering among themselves. Only one seat was left at the table, and it was right next to Lisa. As she stood up to greet me, I stopped her. "I would rather sit far from you now," I said. Cassie quickly helped me by saying, "Brian, please, sit with us at the far end of the table. Your dinner is already paid for." We all sat in a private dining area so no one could overhear our talk. I passed around copies of the photo I had shown Lisa. I said in a steady tone, "Look closely at this picture. I need you all to help me understand. Who is this man?" My words hung in the air as everyone stared in silence. No one offered a name or any explanation. Cassie looked away. I felt betrayed. "Lisa," I said, You shared every detail with your friends, but you never told me anything. I need the truth. The silence made it clear that they were on her side. I left the table angry and hurt. Lisa called after me. Brian, please come back. We can fix this. But no one else seemed to care. I left the meeting and checked back into my motel. Later that night, I stopped by a fast food place for a quick bite. I made a phone call to the babysitter who had helped us earlier, and then packed up some more of my clothes. I moved them into the spare bedroom as I prepared for what was next. At home, I looked after Toby while Lisa was away. I bathed him and tucked him into bed. When Lisa finally came home around 10:30 in the evening, she found me sitting quietly while Toby slept. Tears rolled down my face as I saw her try to come close. Stay away, Lisa. Toby needs his rest, I whispered. She asked, Would you like me to make something for you? We need to talk. I replied, I already ate. Just leave it for now. And please tell me honestly, where have you been with your secret friend? My tone was low and bitter. Lisa hesitated. I was at the restaurant with friends. They helped me talk to you and find the right words. I have a lot I need to say, Brian. I lowered my voice and said, The first thing you must do is tell me his name. Otherwise, we have nothing to discuss. She shook her head sadly. I just can't. I wish I had shown you the man who I thought was good for me. I replied, I wish you had been honest from the start. A week went by. Lisa and I spoke only about Toby. Then, on a quiet Monday night, I came home to find a crowd of Lisa's friends in our kitchen. They crowded around, trying hard not to upset me. I asked immediately, Where is Toby? Lisa explained calmly, I dropped him off with the babysitter. He will be there tonight. I frowned. I did not see your car outside. What is going on? Cassie quickly said, We planned a little surprise. We did not want you to see the cars and get upset. I felt even more betrayed by their secret, plotting. Why are you all here? What have you planned without me? I asked. Lisa said softly, Brian, let us explain. Come with me to the living room. I reluctantly followed, holding Toby's small hand as I did. In the living room, I saw two new people with Lisa. One was a man with kind eyes, and the other was his partner. Lisa introduced them slowly. Brian, please meet Mark and Jenna. They have been my close friends for a long time. I thought you needed to know who has been there for me. I looked at Mark with suspicion. How are they involved? Why did you not tell me before? I asked. Lisa looked at me with pleading eyes. Brian, I never meant to hurt you. I was lonely and confused. Mark and Jenna helped me see a different side of life. I did not know how to share it with you, and I made a mistake. I replied, Your mistake cost us our trust. I need to understand if you are still mine, or if I have become an outsider in my own home. Her eyes welled up as she said, I only wanted to be happy. I thought you would come around if you saw what they brought into my life. The conversation grew more intense. I said, How can I trust you when you hide these things? I need your complete honesty. Tell me, is it true you felt more alive with them? She replied, I did not mean to replace you. I was lost and needed warmth. I never slept with Mark. It was only a kiss, a moment of confusion. I thought it would help me reconnect to life. My anger rose. But you broke my heart, Lisa. I cannot be the man I am if I am constantly doubting your faithfulness. Lisa tried to justify her actions. Brian, I love you. I made a poor decision because I felt neglected. Mark helped me see a future filled with new ideas and possibilities. I wanted to share that with you, but I was too afraid to speak up. I listened, feeling both sadness and betrayal. A simple kiss is not enough to fix a broken heart, I said, my voice trembling. I spent the next few days in turmoil. I looked through old photographs of us. I recalled our small joys and shared dreams. Every memory now came with the bitter taste of betrayal. I contacted my lawyer, Mr. Thompson, and asked him to help me make decisions for our future. I did not want a divorce, but I could not ignore the damage done. Mr. Thompson listened carefully and said, "Brian, you must decide what matters most. I can help if you want to protect your rights and your son." I sighed. I need to protect Toby, even if that means ending our marriage. The legal process began slowly. I was told that filing for divorce could take many months. I decided to take some time and work on myself, focusing on Toby and my job. At work, I found comfort in my engineering projects. I earned a promotion to project leader at the research center several miles away. The extra income gave me hope that Toby would have a better future. Lisa, on the other hand, began working more hours at the call center. Her life grew busier, and our paths started to drift further apart. Our friends told me that Lisa had shared every detail of her secret meetings with them. I was shocked that strangers knew more about our private pain than I did. The betrayal cut me deep. One Sunday evening, our friends met again at a small diner. I went there in hopes of finding answers. I kept to myself and sat quietly while Lisa and her group talked among themselves. I overheard snippets of her conversations. One friend said, "She feels free now and wants to try new things." Another added, "She is excited by the idea of exploring life outside the old rules." I felt the sting of loneliness and betrayal with every word. After dinner, I walked away without saying goodbye. Lisa followed and asked, "Brian, please, tell me why you are doing this. I am not leaving you forever. I just needed to try something." I replied, "Lisa, trust is built on honesty. If you are not honest with me, I cannot see a future for us." She broke down in tears, saying, "I love you, Brian. I made a mistake and I wish I had told you everything sooner." Yet, deep inside, I knew our marriage was on shaky ground. I arranged to meet Mr. Thompson at a law office. We talked about our options. Mr. Thompson explained that if we went for divorce, Toby's well-being would be the top priority. "It is best to think about the child," he said. I nodded slowly, conflicted, but determined. I wanted to fight for my son's happiness more than anything else. The court date came a few weeks later. I stepped into the courtroom with heavy steps and a heavy heart. Lisa was already there with her lawyer. The room was quiet. I sat at the back trying to hide my pain behind a mask of calm. The judge, a kind-faced woman, called the session to order. "This is a difficult matter," she said. "I need the truth from both of you." Lisa started to speak. Her voice shook as she recounted the day of our anniversary and the secret meeting she had with Mark and Jenna. She admitted that she had made poor choices. I listened, feeling a mix of sorrow and anger. When my turn came, I told the truth about my pain. I said, "I saw the pictures, and they broke my trust. I feel like I've lost the woman I married." My voice was low, controlled even though my heart was racing. Then Mr. Thompson called a witness. A private investigator, Mr. Daniels, came forward. He showed clear photos and video clips that proved Lisa's secret meetings. The evidence was heavy. Lisa's lawyer tried to argue that it was only a kiss and that it did not justify the pain I felt. But the judge listened carefully. "Trust is not rebuilt on half-truths," she said. During cross-examination, I asked Lisa plainly, "Did you really think a small moment of weakness could be hidden forever?" Tears filled her eyes as she muttered, "I was scared, and I thought you would not understand." I replied quietly, "I needed honesty, not secrets." The silence in the courtroom was loud and heavy. After the testimonies, the judge took a moment before delivering her decision. "I see that the marriage has suffered deep wounds," she said. "For the sake of the child, I grant primary custody to the father, Brian. Lisa will have visitation rights on a set schedule." I felt a mix of relief and sorrow. I wanted Toby to have both parents, yet I could not ignore the deception. The divorce papers were finalized several weeks later. I left the courthouse with a heavy heart and a small hope for the future. Lisa came up to me whispering, "Brian, I am sorry for all the pain I caused. I wish things could be different." I looked into her eyes and said, "I still care about you, but I must protect what is left of our trust and our family." She nodded, tears streaming down her face, and walked away. In the months that followed, I began rebuilding my life. I spent as much time as possible with Toby. I focused on work and tried to regain the simple pleasures that had once filled our home. Lisa, on the other hand, seemed to drift away with her new friends. I learned that her decision to explore new ideas had cost us everything we once held dear. Every day, I drove to work, always thinking of Toby and what our future might hold. I was careful in everything I did. I changed the locks in our home and made sure that I controlled the security around my space. I did not want to leave room for any more surprises. I met with friends, but I felt alone in my grief. I kept quiet about the details of what had happened. I only shared my pain in simple words and with those I trusted. Even though I had hopes for one day reconciling with Lisa, I soon understood that some wounds never heal. I sent her messages telling her to be careful and to think about Toby. She would occasionally call, but our talks were short and filled with regret. I knew that my focus had to remain on Toby. I cared too much about his future to let bitterness rule our lives. As time passed, I began to see a small light. I met new people who understood my pain, and slowly, I began to smile again. I still remembered our years together, the promises we made and broke. I remembered how our love had once been strong, but how it withered under the weight of betrayal. I continued to work hard at my job and took care of Toby, who was my whole world. One evening, as I tucked Toby into bed and read him a simple story, I felt a little peace. I thought about all the moments we had shared as a family. I realized that forgiveness might come one day, but only if honesty replaced deception. I made a vow to myself that I would always put Toby first, no matter how hard it was to let go of the past. In the end, our divorce was not just the end of a marriage, but also the start of a new journey for both of us. Lisa and I had chosen different paths. I chose to move forward with honesty and care for Toby, while she chose a life filled with risks and uncertain friends. I often wondered if she would ever learn the true meaning of loyalty and trust. I wish I could say that I had found a new love or that I had fully mended my broken heart. I did not. Instead, I learned that life sometimes forces us to make hard choices. I learned that trust, once shattered, can only be rebuilt slowly, with truth and time. And so, I kept going, day by day, simple words guiding me to a future where my son's smile was the only thing that mattered. I still carry the scars of that fateful anniversary, but I also carry the hope that one day, both Lisa and I will find the honesty we once promised each other. Until then, I will be a loving father to Toby, and I will build my life on the strong foundation of truth. Free at last, I say goodbye to the past and open my eyes to the new life waiting ahead.